to an article by Pat Buchanan, whose side has God on now. And he takes the side of Putin. He says that basically Putin is defending Christianity and that Russia is on God's side and the West is Gomorrah. And of course, there are those of you who say, come on, Putin's the ex-KGB leader. He just wants to rebuild the Soviet Union with slave labor camps. That all may be true. I don't know. But to compare Putin to Hitler was a big mistake on the part of Hillary. She should never, ever be forgiven for that. At a time when things were so tenuous, to call Putin Hitler was not helpful. It just shows you how extremist she is and how dangerous she would be as a president. I mean, I don't know what to say to you. But to call him a KGB thug, calling him, as the Wall Street Journal did, the alleged thief, liar, and murderer who rules Russia, as done by the Wall Street Journal, is insanity at a time like this. So you have to understand that Putin may not be all as evil as you think. He certainly isn't as good as Buchanan may think. But Putin, he says, is entering a claim that Moscow is the godly city of today and the command post of the Counter-Reformation against the new paganism. And he goes on to say that there's a worldwide revulsion of and resistance to the sewage of a hedonistic, secular, and social revolution coming out of the West. Now, how often have I called it the sewer pipe of Hollywood, disseminated by Katzenberg, Matzenberg, and Ratzenberg? You know I've said that. The sewer pipe of Hollywood has literally destroyed and polluted the entire mind of the world. There's a reason that they're hated. He doesn't write that. I'm just telling you what I've said. But he goes on, and he talks about the culture war for the future of mankind, and that Putin, he believes, is planting Russia's flag firmly on the side of traditional Christianity. Now, some of you will find that absurd, but others may understand what he's getting at. And then he refers to John Paul II, whose Evangelium Vitae in 1995 excoriated the West for its embrace of a culture of death. And he asks, what did Pope John Paul mean by moral crimes? You'll notice the new Pope is the antithesis almost of Pope John Paul II. The new Pope is a product of the Marxism of South America that existed down there in the 70s. He is the antithesis of John Paul II. This new Pope seems to be on the side of the culture warriors. But he says the West's capitulation to a sexual revolution of easy divorce, rampant promiscuity, pornography, homosexuality, feminism, abortion, same-sex marriage, euthanasia, assisted suicide, the displacement of Christian values by Hollywood values, that's what he means by moral crimes. And so here we are at this stage where Russia is remaking itself as sort of the leader of the anti-Western world. And in fact, he may be the leader of the Western world. Western civilization. I would say that Putin may be seen as a new Constantinople, by the way. I don't know that Buchanan wrote that. I don't think it's in his article. But as the world was falling apart, Constantine tried to save the Christian world hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and he almost did. And Alan Carlson writes, while the other superpowers march to a pagan worldview, Russia is defending Judeo-Christian values. During the Soviet era, he writes, Western communists flocked to Moscow. This year, World Congress of Family 7 will be held in Moscow, September 10th to 12th. You hear this? And he says, in the new ideological Cold War, whose side is God on now? That's an interesting article. And it's certainly food for thought, to be frank. And we're talking about the fact that today is Unscreen Friday on the Saturday.